Welcome back to the channel. I want to appreciate you guys for stopping by again. Today we're going to be changing gears a little bit. Anybody that's been watching the channel has seen some of the videos that I've got uploaded about the 99 Chevy Silverado. We are still working on that, still uploading videos, and hopefully you saw my welcome video. If you didn't, we'll try to link it down in the description. The welcome to the channel. And take a look at that. It's a really good video of what's coming in the next few months. But while we're waiting on things to get done on the 99 Chevy Silverado, we are going to start doing some work on the 40 Ford Sedan, converting it into a 4x4. And so we're going to get some videos uploaded for you on that and show you how I do the modifications and make it four-wheel drive. So let's get over to the workbench. Now we're going to take the clamps off the chassis of the 40 Sedan and see how the gluing turned out for the rear end of the chassis. See if my idea worked. Yeah, these are some pretty big clamps, but using what I got at my disposal, and just being very careful when clamping things down. Making sure not to break it. Alright, let's move over here to the light. Alright, let's get this out of the way. Well, looks like it turned out pretty good. I wanted to clamp it, have it on the inside. Actually, if I had a little micro drill bit, I would have drilled holes into the actual frame and plugged them in there like it should actually be. If it was like you were building this for real, like a one-on-one version, then the leaf springs would have been connected right to the frame, like on top of the frame. But I didn't want to do more modification than I had to, since this is just a model, and take even more time, because I wanted to show you guys how to build this. And so far, nothing's coming unglued. Before we dress up the front end, which this one will fit, once you put the fenders over everything, you won't even see any of this suspension. But this one's going to fit. This one's going to fit right about here, with the suspension on both sides of that, and at the front here, it's going to come in like that, hold there. Then we just got to fix the drive shafts, put the transfer case in. May cut out some of this transmission support here, may cut that out. But definitely need to lengthen the rear drive shaft. So we're going to see how that works when we put the new engine in. And the engine is drying right now. Let me give you a sneak peek of what it looks like. The engine that's going in here. Nope, sorry. That's the wrong one. That's for a different model that we're working on. This one right here. This is the 40 Ford Sedan engine. It's going to drop right in here. Just like that. As you see, no drive shaft. So definitely have to lengthen the drive shaft first to go in here. But we're getting there. Going to make this 40 Ford Sedan four-wheel drive. It's just a matter of taking your time and seeing what modifications you need to make. I looked over the instructions when I first started to put the 4x4 suspension on it, and crazy enough, this is the frame. Like, there's nothing that needed to be added to the frame, so I went ahead and started mounting suspension from the four-wheel drive kit on here. And so, just one step at a time, take it easy, take it slow, get it figured out what you need to do. And eventually you'll get it all set up the way it's supposed to. As of right now, we're going to leave it like this, and when you cover it with the body, you won't even see any of this stuff sticking out. So, not bad for modifying a 40 Ford Sedan, making it 4x4. Now we're going to install the front axle, and so just going to put some glue where it's going to attach at. So I'm on the fronts here, on the insides here. You'll be able to see where the front's going. We'll put these here. And now this needs to dry. So this don't need the same amount of weight the back did. So just put a paint on it, maybe a second one just for this side. Nope, that's not gonna stay. Let's just go with this one. Just enough to hold it down so it'll dry. And then we're going to give this the same amount of time as we gave the back. Probably about a day to dry. So it's nice and solid. Then we're going to figure out where the drive shafts will go, where the transfer case will go, and make sure all the fitment's good. And then we're going to paint the whole thing. Okay, so here we are doing a mock-up. I was checking fitment of everything, making sure the tires don't hit the fenders and all. I have got the fenders all trimmed up so that the tires don't scrub. And if you could imagine it being a one-on-one version, that you would need a little extra room for the tires. And so we can fit this on here. We can fit this piece on here. And if I can hold it up for you so you can see the angle, you can see the fitment of the tires, that it's got a little bit of room for travel. And if this was one-on-one, the front would probably have more trimmed out, but it looks really good for the back for sure. And the front, I don't want to cut too much and take away from the model, so I'm just going to leave it like that because it's got a little bit of room for movement there. So now that we've got the mock-up dry fit to see to make sure the wheels fit, and we have got the front suspension glued in, now we have to get do a dry fit for the transfer case. And so the transfer case is going to go like this right here. It's going to be a married transfer case, and it is going to attach directly to the engine. Well, the problem with this car is this car is not designed for four-wheel drive. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to cut out the spot here that I've already marked out with a pencil. We're going to have to cut this whole section out so that the transfer case will fit. Being sure not to cut out the transmission mount, but we're cutting everything else out of here. And I was going to use my Dremel, but if you look right under where I'm going to be cutting at is my front drive shaft. So I'm going to have to do this the hard way. It's going to take a lot of time, and use my hobby knife. Just whittling a little bit at a time, which I'm going to do off camera because it's going to take a while. Now we have off camera, I have cut out the hole for the transfer case. As I said, I would whittle that part out where the transfer case goes. I'll point for you right there. So I did take my X-Acto knife and cut all that out, and got it lined up with the front drive shaft, which I had to cut. I'll explain in a second. And then I got it to line up, my camera to focus. I got it to line up with the transmission for the engine, which I'll show you a dry fit in a minute. And then I installed the radiator. and it's just got 2 little grooves that it goes in. It's the Ford Sedan radiator. It fits the factory frame, so there ain't no sense in putting anything custom as far as that goes. The main thing we're doing here custom is the suspension. I did cut the rear drive shaft because it was a little short, so we need to extend that and get it to angle down further, because it weren't angling down far enough, down to the transfer case. And we have painted it. I painted it flat black by Rust-Oleum paint. Nothing special. Just some good old paint that you can use on model cars, regular cars, just regular paint. Right here, you see that I put a little block in here. If you look here and see this line, I deleted the entire exhaust system that came factory on the car. As I said before about this frame, it pretty much came with everything on it that you didn't have to do any work. You could just immediately start putting suspension on it. But the factory exhaust came from all the way up here in this corner, and the muffler was here, and it went all the way down. And the muffler, I'll show you, actually was hollow, and so it made a hole once I took my Dremel and got rid of all of that material. So one of the, right here, one of the little tabs that say remove to help support the suspension from getting broken in the box, I actually took that out, cut it to size, sanded it down a little bit, cut it with the X-Acto knife, got it to fit the hole, and then I glued it in. Took it outside, put about 2 coats of Rust-Oleum on it, flat black, and let that dry, and we are ready to move on to the next stage. So I also want to show you the dry fit of the engine. Let me just give me a second here. Show you how this is going to look. Alright, so that's pretty much how it's going to look there. I did the drag version of the engine, since this thing's going to be really full-time, full drive, off-road 40 Ford Sedan. So I was thinking maybe this guy takes it to competitions instead of just out in the woods. And so he's got it fully modified. If you look, there's not even a fan blade on it. And you see it's like all the way up to the radiator. So may address putting a fan on it later. Maybe it's cooled a little differently. Not sure at this point, but right now this is a dry fit, so a couple things may change. Going to do a little painting on the intake tubes. Probably going to black those out, so it just looks like they're being used. The coil, it comes chrome. Going to do it in a different color. But right now we're just on a dry fit on that. But just wanted to show you the progress of getting the transfer case located. And then so our next thing is to install the rest of the suspension that comes with the 4-wheel drive. We're going to get those pieces. I'm going to paint them off camera, and then when they're ready to be installed and I get the drive shafts painted, get them the right length, I'll show you what I used, and then we'll be back to show you the next thing that I do to get this thing converted to full-on 4-wheel drive.